Welcome to Factorio Space Age, the big marathon. We are in episode 28. We are on a weird mod planet. We're now getting into the being on a mod planet stage of the runs. We've got this kind of iron mole set up here because we've got some iron, we've got some power grid. That was all pretty straightforward. And then, yeah, we're pumping some stuff out of the lake. I think this is some kind of water or something, no big deal. We've got it for our power grid, it's fine. The other thing that we have is this resource called Vanadium, and it's weird because, yeah, this is a big patch of 8,500 units. The regular patches we've got, even with the big mining drills we pulled in from Vulcanus, get expended really quickly and don't give us much stuff out. I guess this is all stacked belts, so it's quite a lot more than it looks like, but otherwise we are kind of just playing a snake game, connecting these belts to each other, getting our vanadium in useful places that we are going to at some point figure out what to do with it, probably, maybe. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we've got some steel. I was handcrafting some tanks and also pump jacks to put back in the system. And yeah, we are figuring out, or as it may turn out at the moment, these and pump jacks was the other thing I said. Yeah, we are figuring out how we're going to do anything on this planet, and there is a science we have to make. Yeah, this science also threw me through a curveball because it takes 6 blue science per unit, which is fun. There is a science pack we need to take, which has maybe Russian subtitles, that does lead us into cool things like better crushers. We do want better crushers. Being able to upgrade our ships would be great, although this is 60,000 science away, 30,000 science away of a science pack that we're not even making yet because tech multipliers, that's going to take a while. There's also a speed and health upgrade. This one is health, yeah, speed and health upgrades, that's going to be pretty big. And then I was just like wondering about what this even is. Make chunk aquilo. Nitrogen and hydrogen gives me ammonia, so I can do aquilo based things in places that aren't aquilo, maybe, who knows. And yeah, we need to work on getting ourselves some vanadium dust and then getting ourselves some vanadium plate, because that is how we unlock the science pack. I'm still trying to figure out what exactly we're going to be doing up here. Sodium hydroxide, I don't remember how we get. Vanadium oxide catalyst, I remember seeing from... This was the thing that needed... It's the thing that gets us... It's a thing that gets us a lot of sulfuric acid. So maybe for one of these things we need a lot of sulfuric acid. Do you need a lot of sulfuric acid? Do you need a lot of sulfuric acid? Do you need a little bit for batteries? Made in foundries. We have some foundries, that's fine. Oh, there's another... Are you mined with acid or something? Because there is a concentrate in this. Just ore. Just cook ore in a furnace. Oh no, wait. Vanadium oxide. We do in fact need a bunch of sulfuric acid, and then we get some concentrate, and then the concentrate... Wait, there's 2 ways of getting concentrate? We use the concentrate to get the oxide, and then the oxide is a thing that... Nope, concentrate. Where is the oxide going? Oh, is the oxide going over here? So we do need the oxide over here. So we do need to get some sulfur over here as well, somehow. Interesting. So yeah, so we also need to figure out how to get... I mean, there is stone over here. I saw some stone by one of these other patches that we have since used. Yeah, stone is over here, which is, fine. We can get concrete. We've got enough of this stuff. We've got enough iron to be able to get the steel. This is salt water, which we are turning into regular water so we can do concrete. How we get copper here is interesting. I think we might just be dropping in from Gleba or Fulgora, neither of which actually have surpluses of these things, both the blue chips and the LDS, and also the calcite. We have calcite? Yeah, we have some calcite, so we can do that. I think the next thing we want to do is we want to move all of this infrastructure all the way to... Yeah, we want to figure out how to get down here to this stuff, because this is also the vanadium that we want. So we're just going to run some power poles down here. It's going to be fine. We're going to put some bot coverage down here. It's also going to be fine, and then that's going to give us the coverage we need to put... Yeah, I mean, we're running down the stuff so fast, and we're also having the luxury of putting high quality big drills on this. It's kind of odd, but also odd in a way that I'm down for, because that's kind of what the mod planets are for. Yeah, we've got coverage. Do we have any other radars we can slap around the place just to keep scanning this stuff out? And yeah, I don't think this is a place with bugs we have to deal with. We did drop the radars to see whether or not there are bugs and anything else to deal with. Oh well, let's check in with some of the other planets, because we are how far through this run? 85 and a bit hours through this run. We like to put that earlier in the intro and then did not. Yeah, we've got all the steel as well. Do I need the steel? Not really. I mean, silo stuff, but later we're going to need to get electric engines over here as well at some point. Yeah, because of our 60 times tick multiplier, we've only gone to a couple of places. We went to Gleba first, and it's pretty fine. It's doing... I mean, probably we should have scrolled over here to check that it was doing fine, but it mostly is. We do have the situation... Oh, yeah, let's talk about Vulcanus. But let's talk about Fulgora first. Fulgora is a little bit of a mess at the moment, in the sense that we are also doing these big minor things, but we have run out of the patches, as one might expect, when we are trying to do 60 times tick multiplier stuff and a bunch of... Yeah, a bunch of resource collection from larger than normal patches, but not 60 times larger than normal patches. So we definitely ran all of that out, even with the Vulcanus big drills. Yeah, the Fulgora is kinda offline at the moment, to be honest, which is kinda fine. Like, we've got other drills over here as well, and you were never connected, and a lot of these guys are running out as well. We are doing quality immediately, and the only drills that are still running are the ones that we gave high... Yeah, we put the rare quality drills on the best mining patches we had, and those are still the only ones that are running, which means that Fulgora is not pushing many resources through, and in fact we have cut... Yeah, we weren't even doing science at Fulgora. We were doing module upgrades, which we have now cut off by no longer grabbing the blue chips, and then the other thing we were doing, we were trying to get electromags at high quality via these blue chip grabs. And also, yeah, some holmium. We're putting holmium in these boxes, although it kind of doesn't matter. We're putting any of the common holmium in here, and the holmium and, yeah, the electromags and the recyclers were pretty much the only thing we were exporting from Fulgora with decent... Yeah, and we were putting quality on it as well, in addition to the Module 2s, which we now have a bunch of epics floating around, which is real nice, but we also don't have the blue chips, because we're turning those into electromags instead. And yeah, but that also doesn't really matter that it's offline, because the Vulcanus quality mall is online. We have a situation where we need... Yeah, all of this stuff is not enough iron, not enough iron. I did see that... I was thinking that these guys needed more iron and was going to boost these foundries, but I think it's actually the rare iron. And then also... Yeah, we're doing this thing where we are quality juggling heat pipe, because it's a nice way to get lots of copper, and also juggling boxes, and then also juggling steel boxes. Where are they? Down here. The steel box juggle is done in a way that the steel from the heat pipe takes preference over the steel from the boxes, and we will also just trash steel from heat pipe if we don't have enough copper, just to keep the copper boxes running. All of that be completely fine. And I think the thing, yeah, some of the other iron, we've got one assembler on boxes per foundry making plate. Was these ones, I don't think they're keeping up. So we do have a couple of epic quality these guys, and I think there's one more on iron plates here down here. These are ones that are on two assemblers to 3 foundries, whereas these are 1 to 1. I think we may also need to upgrade these inserters going in, and because we have quality mold all of this, we happen to have these high quality assemblers sitting around. Yeah, the high quality stuff is, we'll buffer it if we ever have any. We almost never do. We don't have enough copper. Actually, we knew we didn't have enough copper because we actually, yeah, in order to get more copper out, we need more iron ore because it gets quality upgraded with steel. Oh well, never mind. Yeah, we also have quality LDS because we were going to do a high quality ship thing, weren't we? And then we also actually need to, yeah, everything is about to back up from having too much quality coal because we are not using the quality plastic. Hilarious. This guy, we are going to let it make more things. The other thing we also wanted, which we're going to throw over here, is high quality mining drills, because we are requesting those. Like, there's a couple of things. If we get these high quality mining drills, and we're actually not going to put quality in these, we want these specifically at rare quality, because somewhere, yeah, we do have a bit of a Vulcanist science build, which is fine, for which we are waiting on tungsten. That's also not what I expected. Okay, whatever, fine. Yeah, because we are waiting on foundries. Do we just have enough foundries? We have 40 rare foundries in the system. Okay, we're going to kick that up to 60 rare foundries because it's still not that many. You are also waiting on that construction, and you are also waiting on that construction. So we can make a bunch more rare foundries. That's fine. Yeah, we've got rocket fuel. We've got Vulcanist launch capacity. Those things are good. Did I set you to be waiting? No, I just happened to check at a point where you were above us. Do I want any of this stuff? I don't think I do. Maybe the LDS, whatever. Yeah, we wanted to be looking at Vulcanist because there were, yeah. Over here, we have a similar kind of Vulcanist juggle for all of the high quality drills that we want. And one of the things over here is, yeah, now that we're making high quality rare red chips, we are not making high quality tungsten. Oh no, wait, no, we could be, but we aren't quite. We now did just drop the high quality drills. High quality electric engines are the other thing that we could make in this mall if we actually stabilized the iron supply, which we have just made worse by asking for more of these guys. Yeah, we also have some high quality module 2s in here, yeah, that we could also socket into things, but I don't even think it's worth. And because we're doing, yeah, we've got somewhere basic regular quality stuff, including regular blue chips for pushing into orbit and using for launch capacity and all that kind of stuff. These guys are kind of placeholders that we don't need anymore. And because we're only trying to maul things at that quality and at rare quality, all of these things on the belt are rare, we don't actually, we can just go straight into productivity and speed and beacons. And yeah, these beacons and these module 2s are the only thing we've got quality, and also the assembler 3s are the only things we've got quality in as end products, because those are the things we care about having a lot of. There was something else I was going to do on, yeah, because we have a whole pile of drills. I'm going to presume we have a whole pile of drills somewhere on Vulcanus. We have down here a whole pile of still common drills, and the reason we haven't upgraded these yet is because they're not in the logistics bot range. So let's just go and add a bunch of roboports. Can we go over here? Those two are definitely going to connect. Can we get power in? Okay, so that's going to connect there, and then we are going to be able to get ourselves a little upgrade planner, and we're on a new weird mod surface, so we don't have the upgrade planners we've been doing this with previously. Yeah, for any quality, go to rare quality, and then grab this upgrade planner, go back to Vulcanus. All of these guys, yeah, 31 more drills. When bots get around to dropping these roboports and they're slowly getting onto it, we will have another 30 drills upgraded. The calcite ones are already upgraded to rare because, you know, those are already in network. The coal ones are also upgraded to rare because those are also in network. And so that is, I think in the drills, I don't think we have actually limited production of drills at all. I think we are just, if we have the materials, and we also have a whole lot of solar panels we could put around the place, that could be fun. I think we are continuing to just make drills and just fill up these chests and not even worry about it. And I think we're okay with that. We're okay in Gleben Science? I think we're okay with that because, like, drills are things we will just enjoy having hundreds of. Okay, so the other thing, we needed 2 other things on Vulcanus to just automate this fully. One of these was the electric engines, of which we might actually need... We need 10 per 30 seconds. It's not all that many, but we would need basically this build, or maybe half this build. Maybe this much of this build. Except over here somewhere, we do have the green chips. We have the steel and pipe. This actually does have everything we would need, doesn't it? In that case, I think maybe we do think about just dropping this in here and having... The thing is, I don't think we do this yet. I think we go splitter here. All of this is express transport belt. Okay, I don't actually like the idea. I don't like having a red splitter amidst my blue belt stuff. So we're going to... Oh yeah, so this wanted to be filter for green chips rare on the left. Yes, and then this continues through here, so these guys... these guys here get the gears they want. I'm not hugely happy with the geometry of how this is turning out, but whatever. Okay, so we've got some mixed belt gears and things like that. That's fine. We also need to get the lubricant through here. I didn't actually want this to be running yet. I wanted to have a way that this could go even while not running. Also, these need to be electric engines at rare quality. And these guys need to be engines also at rare quality. Because the thing is, if we... Yeah, we are currently not... It's this assembler here. We are just making all the green chips all the time. And we are not getting enough iron out of this construction. And if we turned on these electric engines, and we kind of already have, we would... Oh no, wait! Because they need pipes. We do want these assemblers first. We want to be... And actually, we're going to be making these drills first as well, aren't we? You actually only want to... We're going to do this a different way. You guys here that would be taking the iron, don't be taking iron if the number of rare drills we have is bigger than 8. Which is weird and small, but also these guys aren't an output. These are just an input to the bigger drills. And so this belt that should have iron on it, yeah, this piece of belt is checking what has iron here. Wait, shouldn't you... Less than 8. Always good to check your conditions. Yes, so we're only going to make a couple of these drills. That means more iron is going to get to here, which means we can make the assemblers we want to, if anything. And then also we're going to make sure that all of this kind of fills up before we make the pipes, because the pipes also control whether or not we make all of these chem plants and pump jacks, of which we are doing a pretty good job for, to be honest. And then pipes will also control whether we make these engines, which will control whether we make the electric engines. I am pretty happy with that, and that just means that we need to find where the lubricant is, gross, and run this also across here into this location. That's not going to make it, is it? It is not going to make it. However, we can get underneath here. That is pretty objectionable, but also whatever. So now we have a way, I think. Yeah, you're making rear engine. Oh wait, also, a thing we should be doing is efficiency modules. We don't really care about speed, because we don't have a lot of these things to work with. But if we could get a lot more stuff out for free, that would be super cool. And then if we want to, we can drop a beacon in here. But I also don't think I care. That's electric engines, and now we're making... Maybe we're making more mining drills. In practice, we're not making more mining drills because we need to... The stuff is all fine. In... Where did it go? In here is where we need to be making the... Yeah, this carbide stuff at rare quality. Which means... Did we leave enough space? We did. That is not what I was expecting. Whatever. Okay, so we can have these two guys kick stuff out. Actually, we don't... There are two different processes that want this, aren't they? There's the... We basically want one of these guys. Are we going to fit... Are we just going to jam this in? I think we're definitely just going to jam this in, aren't we? I think if we go here and here... let's actually... Yeah, let's offset this a little. Let's move this down, and then we can have... Oh wait, we can no longer do the direct insert if these things are off in that way. And then, yeah, because I wanted... This guy... Yeah, I think we do go for a position where we can direct insert between whatever this is, the carbon and the carbide. I think we also again worry about prod modding this a little more, because this stuff is in theory difficult to get, but in practice we've got so much of it, it might jam up our other processes. It might already be jamming up other processes. Oh well, never mind. Yeah, you guys grab whatever you want. How much do you need? You need 2 per second. You're still fine. We then need this stuff to also get in here. Actually, can you sit over here, please? And then just fill up a chest with it. But we also need to set these guys to the rare recipe of the same. How fast are you going to... Oh, wait. We can... What we can do is we can give this guy another rare. Another speed module. And we can make all of this better by giving you one of the few... epic assembler machines, which is cool. You guys, why are you not getting sulfuric acid? And oh yeah, because we need to set this recipe to rare quality of the same. Okay, so that's a bit of a speed mismatch, but also over here somewhere we had some epic quality speed modules, which I don't think you necessarily deserve, but let's slap those in and see what happens. Because now we're making 2.8. We need 2.18. We need 2.6. That's close enough for me to be happy that this is a thing that is doing a thing and being happy with it. And yeah, the demolishers are kind of sad that I've walked away from them and I'm not really considering them. Why are you not? Oh yeah, because we don't have pipes. Because we needed to get more iron in to be making more drills and to have a surplus on this square of belt here, so that these inserters will kick off, so that we can put more pipe here to build the rest of the petrochem things, and then engines for mining drills. And so all of this is, yeah, all of this is gated by how much iron we are upgrading, which turns out to be gated by how much iron these... I mean, I guess we could throw another one of them over here. But the other thing we could do is just think about getting stacked belts here, because that is a technology we have. In fact, on Gleba, that is why we dropped down some number of recyclers that are here. And I think we go like this, we go like this, we say use filters, carbon... And we are just going to recycle all of the high quality, well, all of, yeah, we're going to recycle out all of the low quality carbon in here into another box like so. And then, yeah, I think we actually move this guy to this side, flip this thing, and then we can also go, yeah, we're just going to quality loop all of this carbon. It's fine. Yeah, so now we can have 3 boxes of stuff here. We are going to quality upgrade the various carbon. We're going to end up with a lot of uncommon carbon here, and then a bunch of uncommon carbon in these boxes as well. And then I think we slowly ramp up these filters to go from uncommon, yeah, from common to then also uncommon, and then to also... No, I think we're going to be upgrading all of this carbon eventually to rare, because that is the level of bulk inserters we have over here. Let's step up all of these limits now, because we can. We already boosted these and they're nearly full. All of this can just straight up just take a while. We are not concerned. Oh wait, are we limiting... Yeah, we are limiting the number of speed 2s that come out. Only indirectly, in that when we... Yeah, the highest priority things are getting iron on this belt, which will let us make these drills and these drills. But also, these drills are also implicitly capped by engines, because the only thing they're used for are the rare big drills. And then we don't actually make blue chips unless we have that surplus of iron. So, yeah, we're making sure we get assemblers, and then all of this stuff can just run at the rate at, yeah, this stuff falling out. And we would like more assemblers here as well, but that's fine. And then Gleba is kind of on the way to be... Because this is now running again because we have space in these boxes. We can now just be... If we get around to it when we get back here... yeah, turning all of these jellies, somehow figuring out how to upcycle a bunch of these jellies to rare, and we might just take this belt, and then also just be making rare quality stack inserters, which would be fine. The science is still going, which is great. On Nauvis, we have, yeah, a couple of trains by the landing pad. We have a bunch of labs. We have Nauvis no longer asking for cliff explosives, which means it's made all the cliff explosives it wants. There were a couple of other upgrade juggles we wanted to do here as well. We aren't actually... Yeah, we've got this spot over here where it looks like we might be making prod mods, but also we actually don't have any egg production because nothing happened. It's fine, don't worry, don't ask about it. We kind of want to get better modules back here as well, but without the eggs we don't have biolabs production. But a thing we do have in here somewhere, not in there, we do still have all of these biolabs we made the last time. So I think we also, in Nauvis, we dropped down a couple of... Yeah, we dropped down a couple of these recyclers, which we're going to do quality things with. And the first one we're going to do quality things with when I find it. Where are the starter patches? The starter patches, yeah, the starter patches that are, I was going to say almost all gone, are very nearly fully gone. Hilarious. Somewhere over here we have a large amount of wood. And then, yeah, changing my mind about all this stuff. Probably bots will get around to it. It's going to be fine. And then all of you guys are powered. You are powered. Or we actually want... Yeah, we want to be making wood boxes at quality. Do we also then want to be... I think we also want to be making the wood boxes at uncommon quality as well. But I don't think we trash these yet. I think we trash these very soon, but not yet. I think we let this guy... Nauvis is not complaining about needing the quality modules. So currently we are just trashing a whole pile of wood. Oh well, don't worry about it. We've got a whole lot of wood here. We've got... actually, you should go in some other storage box. You will just make everything worse. Oh, does that mean that... It does. It means that all of these things are kind of in the way. Great, we eventually got that done. We are going to, in a similar way, just juggle all of this up to epic quality wood, because the thing we actually want is an epic quality shotgun. We've got a regular shotgun here. We don't want this regular quality shotgun. Did we actually... we got mining down here, so all of that is good. We have this belt of not much mysterious stuff. We've got to figure out what to do with it. We also have... Yeah, we've been away looking at other planets, and as a result, everything is fine and backed up. And we just need to figure out what to do here. Okay, bit of a poking around the tech tree, updated the mods because that's always a good thing to do. Oh, notice from Rubia, we are playing with tech cost multipliers. We are. Rubia has trigger technologies with their own separate tech cost multiplier in the mod settings. That's a nice thing to know. We're not going to deal with that now. I think I like how Rubia is scaled at the moment. Yeah, let's look in the... Yeah, trying to figure out how to reliably get back to the one or two technologies that we want to investigate. Let's tunnel vision on the science, because that's always the thing we like to do, and then go depth first. And yeah, let's actually start with these catalysts, because I think we need to line some other stuff up. There's a thing we can do with catalysts to get sulfuric acid, which is fine. We also need to make the catalysts first using vanadium oxide, and then there's a couple of ways to get the sulfur dioxide from various things. Okay, great. The other thing that the science pack needed was this vanadium plate, which we are not yet, because we're still waiting on the trigger to get this vanadium oxide. Plates from dust, dust from oxide, and this is where the calcium quicklime thing turns up that I think we just want to deal with later. I guess let's note, 5 calcium into 5 quicklime. The other calcium processing was calcite into quicklime 1-to-1, quicklime into slacked lime, calcium, yeah, slacked lime into calcium, and so we need the calcite to kick off this loop, but it looks like after that, this guy here is just catalyzing using the calcium, and then we have to reprocess it through the quicklime stage, which I am fine with, but also the vanadium oxide we need to figure out how to make, and that's over here. And yeah, the oxide comes from the concentrate and sulfuric acid. The concentrate comes from the ore, which we have. In fact, we could just start cooking that. Let's just start cooking that. Here's the stuff we want. Where's my rare furnaces? We're going to do this. We're going to go once. I think we're going to go... Did I bring prod mods? Because the other thing we are looking at is generally a shortage of this ore. In fact, we're going to go double prod mod in this stage because we can. And then... Did I put beacons over by the steel? I put a kind of beacon over by the steel. I think we want a better beacon by the steel. Specifically, yeah, get the power usage going in here. It's gonna be fine. Are we happy with how this is? I mean, to the extent that we are... And clearly this is also a complaint about my playing and not actually the mod. I tend to make things that I build and then am unhappy about, and it's fine, don't worry about it. Okay, so we have productivity coming out of the dust to concentrate layer, but then we need a form of acid. This was going to be in the way here because we're going to need to go something like this, I guess. I guess we could also have a splitter here, whatever. So we then need sulfuric acid to process this into the next step. The thing is, or maybe we could... Was it in a chem plant? I'm going to need more chem plants. You into... Is it uncategorized? Here's the salt stuff. None of these are the things we actually want. Maybe it's not in... Maybe it's not in a chem plant. Maybe it's in an assembler. Oxide is made in an assembler, which is fine because it means we can actually stack more productivity bonuses into this thing if this is the problem we are having. And I think we also then just go in here because we can also then get a pile of productivity in this stage as well as we choose the recipe to turn things. Okay, I think you've probably spotted the direction we were going with this though. One of the quirks about this is, okay, first of all, that stuff's not going to work because we are going to need long-handed inserters over... Yeah, we're going to need some way of getting the product out, but we also need sulfuric acid in somehow. Let's also throw a couple of tanks here. Yeah, I can queue these from the crafting menu, and so we can have a bunch of acid because we're going to need a bunch of acid. We can also have a bunch of power here because we're going to need a bunch of power here. Let's try and line these power poles up rather than... Oh, we did line these power poles up. I was going to say rather than being a silly person. We are going to continue to be a silly person. There's also a little green dot in the top left of this concentrate, which is throwing me because I'm seeing it on a belt like this, and it's like it's giving the feel of quality markers while not being a quality marker. So that's let's be able to walk through this. So that's an interesting thing. And do we have... We do have rubber coverage. We must have belt. Yeah, definitely we have belt. Okay. So the issue here is, number one, we need more prod mods, which is interesting. I think what we're going to do about that is we're going to get some of these guys to swap their modules around so we can have a bit more productivity at each stage. Oh, well, I mean, I guess it depends on how much stuff we need, but the other thing to bear in mind here is, yeah, we were trying to figure out how to get the science. We were tunnel visioning on the science and doing a depth first thing. So we don't have oxide because we need the acid. If we got the oxide, we also need to do the calcium thing, but then the vanadium plate is pretty straightforward, and the vanadium plate is one of the science ingredients. Okay, great. The oxide catalyst, however, to make this we need the oxide, and then to make acid here we need the catalyst, which means we need a kickstart of... Yeah, we need a kickstart of acid, and I think the only way we're going to get that, and also there's no... Yeah, we've done a bit more scanning, there's no bugs, there's no copper. We are going to need to bring in some acid from Nauvis, and then also because there's no copper, we are going to need to bring in... How much have we... Yeah, we've not put too much of a mess here. I am fine with it. Yeah, we want to... Actually, do we have... Where is the stone? Here's the stone. And we also have rubber port coverage on it. And we're still fine. Okay, good. Because I did want that stone. Because we realized we needed... I'm just going to grab this whole thing again. Why not? Because we wanted refineries. This here is covering all of the stone in the way I think I like. We are connected to the pole. We've got coverage on all of the mines. These guys are... Yeah, let's move these outside ones in a little. And then let's also move this guy as well. Yeah, okay. Let's move all these guys in. Stone is not necessarily a thing that I am hugely concerned about, managing our stockpile responsibly. We can just have all of it, as long as we have the drills. I don't actually know if we have the drills. Shchierbin is 4 drills short. Okay. Iron drills are a thing we are going to cull, because we just don't need that much iron. Especially if the science we're looking at mostly comes from this stuff. Yeah, because there isn't even... Oh wait, there was a thing about the catalysts needed... Yeah, reasons why I would like... I mean, maybe I should look at whether or not it's just possible to pin a technology. It might already be possible to pin a technology. The plate did not need anything to do with iron, no, but the catalysts did need a small amount of steel. Not very much steel, and then some sodium hydroxide, and... Okay, let's briefly... Yeah, that was me thinking I was not on the map and also being in the map. The sodium hydroxide we get from... Not the natural gas processing. The natural gas processing, we get methane and hydrogen sulfide. The hydrogen sulfide is how we get the process for turning things into the acid, but we also need the catalyst to actually do that. And so here's the sodium hydroxide. We do need the sodium hydroxide for the acid process. That's not true. We need it for the catalyst process, which also means we need it for the science, but we also need it again directly in the science. So sodium hydroxide, how do we get that? Yeah, this was the next guess, because like we've looked at the natural gas processing, it's probably not the calcium processing. We've looked at the chlorine processing. No, we looked at the vanadium processing. The chlorine processing was kind of the other one that was like the next option. We are already making salt, and it turns out we just turn the salt into sodium hydroxide. Interesting. I was expecting just to void the salt. I was considering the water the helpful thing we were doing here to make the power plant work, but that's apparently not the case. Oh yeah, another hilarious thing which I discovered, which maybe it's deliberate, maybe it's not. This whatever we are pumping this sea, yeah, it says seawater, but this is like an old crusted, like salt crusted cavern or something with the water underneath, because it's actually a surface we can walk over, which I quite like as the flavor of just like a world that has expired and just been left behind. Is that even there's only like these underwater or underground fluid portions that have been like crusty and old on their surface. Yeah, this gave us the methane, and then the salt gave us... What was it, in a chem plant? Not there. This guy. So we are doing this to get the salt and the water for our power grid. Actually, if we used more power grid, we could get more water out to get more salt out, because the salt is currently only a byproduct, but it will turn out to be vital because we need the sodium hydroxide. And then the chlorine, there's a chlorine thing that we have not researched yet that goes into a different kind of accumulator, which I'm not sure I care about. There's a water electrolysis thing to do chemistry stuff. Okay, fine. And then there is... Okay, so the methane that comes out of the natural gas and the chlorine that comes out of the salt as the other product of the sodium hydroxide, we do a bunch of organic chemistry stuff. We've got our methane. I was wondering if there was a change from this natural gas to plastic or maybe rocket fuel or something like that, but we get methane, we turn methane into chloromethane, we turn chloromethane with more sodium hydroxide into ethylene, we turn ethylene with more chlorine into vinyl chloride, which we then process into plastic. And it doesn't look like there's any other way of getting rid of methane or chlorine other than this process, which is super interesting because I don't think we need plastic here, because without copper, there's nothing I would build that would use that much plastic. Like the two things generally we would want copper for are the red chips and the low density structure. And long term, the only thing that we would use red chips for would be the blue chips, which would also need acid, which in theory we would have here, and also more copper for green chips. And so without copper here, and especially as on the space map we're right next to Fulgora, which if it was functional would be delivering low density structure and blue chips that we could ship over to Shchierbin and it would be fine. As it is, Fulgora is not really having a surplus of blue chips, which is unfortunate, but it does have a pleasant number of electromags sitting around that we might do something with later, and then yeah, all the elevated rail stuff that we might later use. Okay, but the thing is, if we're dropping in the LDS and the blue chips from orbit for our ship, then we don't need anything to do with plastic, and so this whole process here of let's make plastic from the various other outputs of methane and chlorine that we get from the other stuff, I don't think we necessarily care about this at all. We would just be doing this as a way to avoid plastic, which is a bit of a shame, and maybe there are some other ways around that. What does... This happens in a chemical plant? Okay, and then we unlocked this as soon as we get some methane, which was... that was the one from the natural gas that needs the oil refinery. So we do in fact need this belt of stone here. Can we actually... Do we have on Nauvis... Is there a space where we have this nice big framework of roboports that I would like to drop in, say, here? Because this will give us coverage to get this stone further over generally in this direction to where the mall is, because currently we only really need the stone for mall things. I guess we go and set that up now. Is that true? That's not quite true. We are going to go back to Nauvis and we are going to put sulfuric acid in the barrels, because that is the thing. I mean, I guess we could also do this with... We've got water, we've got iron. Maybe we could also just ship over this... In fact, if we're just shipping over the sulfur... Vulcanus, because it also... We wanted a load of this fast transport belt. We are not putting this sulfur in the network, and we could be. But we also only want one... Oh, and you're now moving the stuff over here, because we had this group to pull it out of the rock collection network. Okay, so if we've... Yeah, because if we've got that... Where's my... is Frederick my Vulcanus ship? Yes. So we're going to have a new section that we are going to call Shchierbin once. Is it spelled like that? Maybe? Okay, we're going to have one of these things. We are going to grab sulfur from Vulcanus. We are also going to grab calcite, also from Vulcanus. Calcite from Vulcanus. We are going to need to go to Nauvis. Oh no, wait. We also have the electric engines on Vulcanus because we also re-implemented them. So I was trying to figure out if we needed to go back to Nauvis to pick this up and then accidentally drop the calcite, and we would have needed to do that with a non-unload group. But I think we can also just... Yeah, we're quite a long way out of the loop, isn't we? Because we're going to Gleba, and then we go back to Nauvis, and then we go... Okay, all of that is fine. So we're going to be able to get sulfur. Oh, we already have the calcite because we were already going through Nauvis, and that's fine. We then also wanted blue chips from Vulcanus, if we have blue chips from Vulcanus, and we also would like a low-density structure also from Vulcanus, because Vulcanus has a lot of this stuff. And then let's also, for management of numbers, bump these things up to something like... I think we probably need 300 low-density structure, and then more than that for the blue chips, because we have to be in fact, I think we actually throw Shchierbin in the loop now, because we can get the... Yeah, let's go... oh, we've already got Shchierbin. It needs the time passed, and it needs the... It doesn't really need the ammo check, but... Wait. Why are we going to... This is the ship that I took to Shchierbin previously, and we never actually trimmed it off the... Yeah, we never actually trimmed it off the schedule. It's been doing this extra little loop out and then back to Nauvis this whole time. Usually Shchierbin, between Gleba and Fulgora is when we go to Shchierbin, but also the other way around. We go to Fulgora first. Okay, we also would like... And we don't have... How many does Nauvis still have modules? Does it still have uncommon prod mods? It's got a large number of prod mod 2s, but all of the uncommon prod mods have gone somewhere else. We might also have uncommon module 3s, but probably not many of them. Only 30. That, I think, is still worth grabbing. Are you guys... Yeah, and then you're just not getting all the chips you want, but also we don't have the eggs we want, so it doesn't matter. Okay, let's set up the rest of these requests on the ship that's actually doing it. The resupply ship is nearly at Shchierbin. I thought I had more to add to the list, but it turned out to just be the modules. Oh well. After this we want to go to... Actually, you've got chem plants that we want. You've got assembly machines that we want as well. In fact, give me all of the efficiency modules as well and the inserters. Why not? But we are currently stopped at Shchierbin and we have a little bit of time, and then I think we send this back to Vulcanus to get all of... Yeah, to get the kickstart materials we want. Do we want more bots? I think we're going to get more bots. I think we're just going to drop all of this stuff down and not really care. Oh, calcite too. We did want the calcite. Presumably we have enough space to deal with... Yeah, hopefully we have enough space on the ground to deal with all of that kind of stuff. Let's get some more... We didn't actually need pipes. Let's get some... We probably didn't need those either. Whatever. It's fine. I am not concerned. Drop all the things. Great. And then... yeah, go and do... Just go do the Nauvis thing. Okay, fine, cool, great. Let's... Oh, I also wanted a car, didn't I? Because we are... Actually, I wanted a number of things. We... First of all, don't need quite so much steel cooking here. Do we also need this much iron cooking? Probably not. I should have got... Wait, when you were going back to Nauvis, could you also get us a pile of rare electric furnaces? Maybe 100 of them. I'm pretty sure we still have a lot. It's going to be fine. Because we wanted stone to be able to make... we basically just wanted stone for oil refineries, and then also concrete, of which we don't need a whole lot. And then I wanted a bunch of engines for a pile of things. Yeah, we're going to do... I wanted a car because some of these patches are a long way away. I also wanted a pile of trains because if we're going down here and then, okay, we're not going down there at all. There's like 300 there. We might be going down here. There's 7,000 things there. There's 9,000, 18, so there's about 27-ish over here, 22 over here. Was one of these, this one was terrible, this one was terrible, 33,000 over here. We are going to go and have some trains to go to these different locations, rather than having 1,000 belts going in different places. I think is going to be the easier thing, which means we are going to want poles into, yeah, down here is where this is, isn't it? We can go poles into rail here. Rail like so. Poles. I am also wondering, Nauvis seeing rail destroyed is a little bit of a problem. I was wondering whether... Yeah, I was wondering whether Nauvis would end up having some behemoth problems. There's also just a lot of bugs there because expansions. Okay, I think we're going to need to attempt to cauterize this before the train station. Definitely before the train station. Okay, so that should make... Did they get around the side? They didn't get around the side. There's no way they got around the side. So we do need to... I mean, we have all these things in the mall. The bots are eventually going to put all of this back. We would like these guys to... Maybe it was just... Yeah, it was just a size of wave thing, wasn't it? There are no behemoths in here at all, even though we are... Where's a nest we can look at? We are on the edge of making behemoths as well. So, I mean, this was always the area that was kind of sketchy on Nauvis. Yeah, okay, fine. We do have a lot of bots, but the lots of bots are also coming from a lot of different places. So it might take them a while to get to any particular defensive position. Which also means that... Why are we having... I guess we just dumped out that many landmines. We were a little bit careless about that, but we do want more landmines in here, especially if we are going to have to deal with behemoths around the place. Yeah, things I didn't really want to have to deal with, but I guess we are. How did the bugs just walked on and are going into the solar? These guys are a little bit annoying. As long as we don't have to deal with... If they hit the biolabs, I'll be a little bit unhappy, even though these are actually common quality biolabs that we've got. Okay, this is good. There's space in between all of these solar panels for bots to add a bunch of landmines. I guess we don't need these ones, so all the bots are sad about the jobs we are giving them and then taking away. We do need to get some of these landmines in before... I think I leave all the ones around the train station. I think it's probably fine. But I also don't know where all the... I mean, are they just coming from different places around the base? Did we actually build that many landmines? You guys are actually going after the biolabs. That's a little bit of a shame. Because I've actually not got the productivity modules in here. You guys are going to destroy the chests with the spoilage, which is pretty funny. But yeah, you guys are being a bit of a nuisance. Okay, are we... Yeah, you are turning up to drop a bunch of stuff in here, which is fine. And I was going to... Are we out of... No, we're not going to be out of rail, that's fine. Okay, so, I think those biters have volunteered their homes to be callously destroyed, is what I think is going to happen there, because we're also going to need more eggs to build more module upgrades, because we're going to need those, and we also don't really have here, and I guess here? Not there. There. Yeah, we are going to need the two biolabs destroyed is going to be... Oh no, wait. We did have more productivity modules, except we were requesting them on this ship. Available on planet 35. Yeah, cancel that request. We only need... Yeah, use those Prod 3 modules in the biolabs that we put back, which presumably we are... Oh wow, you guys are actually doing some pretty good work. And are moving around doing crazy things all over the place. Maybe we should have some gun turrets or laser turrets or things like that that actually have range. Because we also don't have... Yeah, can we have... I know we don't have laser turrets automated here, but if we could have some gun turrets, and I'm pretty sure we have gun turrets, if we could just draw your attention towards some things that could be more easily killed. Yeah, because there's not a whole lot of space between these biolabs at all. These are also still common beacons with speed 2 modules, so I don't even really mind about that kind of stuff. Okay, fine. Moving on. So we've got these engines. I wanted... Let's get 2 cars, and we are going to need all of the stuff for which we need all of the iron plate. Do we just... I think the thing we do is we just go... Because I don't feel like handcrafting all of these. We go... These 2 dudes. You guys both want to be an input thing, because I was going to give you all of these chips. And then a pole. And then you guys get this stuff, and we should be able to make... I believe that's all we need for... Yeah, these guys on plate, that should be fine. I needed... I think it was probably more gears. So I think we... Do we want to automate... This is still biolabs. Unfortunate. Okay. I wanted holes as well, so I could do... Yeah, we'll just kick... Okay, we're not going to handcraft green chips. That's silly. We have a lot more of these. Oh, we've got all of the assemblers we need. We don't actually need more assemblers. That's hilarious. Okay. Give me some of these guys. We've also got a whole lot more drone frames. We are going to need logistics bots. So let's do this hack again over here, where we go a thing making logistics bots. And then, yeah, we've got most of the mall things we need in most places. It's pretty fine. Here, like so. Okay, and then you guys actually, yeah, we just leave all of this stuff in the box, and then we've got a lot of... Did we drop calcite when we were first here? Interesting. Oh yeah, we must have... We had a couple of other rounds of dropping in other things we realized we needed with more storage and stuff like that, but that's also going to be fine. We need... Yeah, we need the electric engines. Oh, that's what we were going to do. We were going to add down here the Shchierbin wants group. So when the ship turns up, we're just going to get all this stuff, which is going to be nice. Do we need to pay attention to... If they are destroying the landmines, that means we have in fact got in there. And we also are now short... We are not short of any Prod 3 modules, so all the landmines are going in here, which is fine. These guys are getting the other modules in. That was exciting and dramatic. Walls being destroyed is fine. And then we have, yeah, just a lot more landmines around the place. Oh well. Do we... I think we might just genocide this entire area. I think we're still going to use this area for lots of eggs. Okay, fine. Okay, so we have the bots. We have... Wait, I need to check in on the ship again. You are getting... The important things are the engine units so we can make the silo, the calcite, and also... Why don't we have... Oh, because we need to go to Vulcanus. That's very silly. I mean, the Vulcanus was the next step of the automatic sequence anyway. We have all of the modules we want, and I think at this point we would rather go to Vulcanus as soon as these rockets arrive, because that's where the rest of the stuff we want is. Also, drop your Gleben Science. Okay, cool. So, we have a bunch of engines over here for which I think we needed to feed more gears. I was going to have these guys in a box, because we can just continue to make gears this way. It's going to be fine. Handcrafting these guys. My cargo wagons were iron, steel, and gears. So if you were, say, here, you could make me the cargo wagons if we went underground like so. Nearly we were one off, never mind, no big deal. Yeah, you... In that case, we want to continue this further. You grab things, and you grab this stuff as well and put it in a box and grab... Is it mostly iron? Are you mostly made of iron? You are mostly made of iron and steel. And how long do you craft in? 1 second. This is actually going to be... You're going to do a whole lot of work, aren't you? It's fine. Okay. These guys, let's have a bunch of them. We're probably not making that many, but it's probably fine. And then I was continuing to pick up these things because I was just going to handcraft a bunch of locomotives. Three is not a bunch of locomotives. Steel, yeah, we put the gears and the pipe in a different place, haven't we? Let's actually automate this. And so if you went over here, and then we also had... Which side of the belt would you put things on if we just let you? On that side. Okay, that's actually not necessarily the same side, but we can make it work. I wanted a red splitter specifically here, because the gears will happen to be on the same side to send some of them down here, and then this can continue, and a side load here means we now have... yeah, let's not side load it that way, let's side load it this way, because now down here we have a place where we can go engines, a bunch of engines with modules, engines. Let's go 2 of these, 1 speed, 1 prod. That does not really feel worth, but whatever. And then, okay, nearly but not quite. This one is going to be the locomotives, because I don't feel like automating the locomotives, which is steel and green chips and engines, of which maybe I do feel like handcrafting the locomotives. In which case we can just have... wrong way around. I was going to have all of these on the same belt, because why not? You are going to need some special treatment, it's fine. And then over here we are going to have a dude that filters specifically for the engines we want, and put those in a box. Let's get a lot of engines, because locomotives do really use quite a few engines. This is off slightly, no big deal. Can we move this one? Yes, in which case we shall. Okay, so we've got a whole pile of engines turning up. We are fully automated on engines. We are short of steel. Yeah, so being short of steel is fine, because we've only got a little bit of it here, but also whatever. We can get a little bit more of that, it's fine. Let's check how the ship is doing. It's heading towards Vulcanus, which means it should now be able to get all of this stuff, except we don't have the engine units. Okay, you are going to go passenger part present, because we would like you to hang here, and on Vulcanus, we would like to be saving these electric engines, and they were otherwise getting requested to a couple of places that not there, here, not there, it wasn't foundries, it was mining drills, wasn't it? And we probably have at the moment enough decent mining drills sitting around, yeah, that I am happy that we get rid of this request for a while. Although it also means that it probably is going to be faster to fly back to Nauvis on the way, isn't it? It probably is. So we aren't getting the calcite, we are getting chips and low density structure. That is fine. We're getting this calcite as well. Yeah, I think we change this to Nauvis. And we want, again, 400 of these guys from Nauvis. Yep. And then we are going to... I think we go add station Nauvis. These guys are going to be two little... very temporary things. We are not going to unload at Nauvis. And we are going to go... Okay, so we've got Kickstart Sulfur, which is great. We've got modules. We've got more furnaces. We've got everything we might want except for... Oh, we're getting more calcite, it's fine. Yeah, we're going to go to Nauvis. We're going to get these electric engine units because I'm pretty sure Nauvis, for all its calamity, does have those electric engine units. Probably. Because we've been sending them around... Because we've been sending them around the place to start... Oh yeah, over here. We've got a decent number of electric engine units which we can send into space. It's going to be fine. Okay, so we have a way to get rail. We've got these guys because we wanted oil refineries. Let's get 10 oil refineries, because why not? Let's get a pile of chem plants as well, also because why not? Okay, and then I think we can... Yeah, these guys are going to turn into all of the locomotives we want. That is 9 locomotives. I wonder if I can get a 10th locomotive. More steel. We are down to the rate at which we are producing steel, which is totally fine. Okay, let's just go and smash some stuff in and see what do we... Oh yeah, steel. I saw the engines. We've got some oil refineries now, and oil refineries were the thing that we needed. Was there anything else that went into the oil refinery? It was straight up just natural gas into methane and hydrogen sulfide, which is super achievable. I don't know if I want to block this space. I would, because where are we putting... I guess what we're doing is we're going to go here and here. And I'm pretty sure we have underground pipes in the mall. And then get rid of this dude. And have we... I think the fact that there's only 2 outputs here means that we can just stack these things right next to each other, which I think I like. And then through here... Yeah, we're gonna worry about how we beacon this later. If we beacon it at all, and we probably are beaconing it. And then we're just got to figure out where these various parts go and what we do with them. Because we've got... Yeah, we've now got the hydrogen sulfide, which we needed a... oh yeah, we've now got that technology. Probably we should do a Gleben science next, because we've been on this bullet damage one for a while. A Gleben science technology, that would be good. Maybe blow these guys up a little bit harder. It's probably going to be fine. We probably don't need it, but whatever. And yeah, this methane, there's a bunch of methane and chlorine processes. And at the moment we have... wait, we were supposed to be electrolyzing that salt for the other stuff, weren't we? Because we've got the... Yeah, we've got this hydrogen sulfide. Where are we putting this? I think we're just making a mess. I think that's going to be, to be honest, what was always going to happen. Hydrogen sulfide into hydrogen sulfide into sulfur dioxide and steam. That is what we want. I also don't know how many of these assemblies we want per recipe, but I think we're just going to smash it in and worry about that later. In fact, all of these guys not being beaconed is silly. Are we going to need... What is the richness of this thing? 362, which is not great. How much natural gas are you using? For a second. I think we are going to run out of natural gas problems as well, so we're going to want a natural gas station, but there's also a bit more natural gas around the place. 628. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of natural gas. We are going to need fluid wagons here as well, probably. Anyway, so these guys are also now making both fluids that we want. We have not done that super well, have we? Let's get this. Actually, let's flip this, because now we've got the same pattern of here's some steam that we want. And then here, yeah, we've got both of these things. And then the next step, was the next step also a chem plant? That was the oxidation process. This one here needs steam and sulfur dioxide. And the interesting thing about this is, or at least one of the complications of this, okay, we need the catalyst. We knew we needed the catalyst. To make the catalyst, yeah, we're still not making the catalysts, are we? And we also need to be making the catalysts perpetually, because the catalysts also go into the science. Yeah. Okay, fine. So, we got to have the catalysts. The catalysts are probably also unaffected by productivity, because otherwise this loop would be a source of catalyst, which is going to be interesting. Yeah, we need twice as much steam as sulfur dioxide. This thing spits out twice as much steam as sulfur dioxide. I was expecting to either be making steam or recovering steam. And then also there's a recipe to make somewhere in one of these facilities. There was a recipe to make... Is it in the chlorine? Is it in this guy? One of these sulfur into sulfur dioxide in a chemical plant. Sulfur dioxide from sulfur. Sulfur dioxide from hydrogen. Sulfur dioxide from sulfur. Okay, so this does need us to get the steam out. So we can do this... Yeah, so we need to do this from sulfur with steam the first time. Yeah, we need to do sulfur dioxide the first time into this process which needs steam and sulfur dioxide. We also get... Is that true? That's not true at all. We don't need... This is just because we've brought the sulfur in. We already have the sulfur we need. The thing we need is the sulfuric acid to make the first instance. We do need... Okay, so we do need barreled sulfuric acid. Bringing in atomized... Okay, so we don't... Yeah, we just don't do that sulfur recipe. We do the regular sulfuric acid recipe, for which we have all the stuff. We have the water, we have the sulfur, well, we will have the sulfur, we have the iron. We can make an initial batch of sulfuric acid. Are you doing your things? Do you have everything we want? You've got the sulfur, you've got calcite, we don't have electric engines because we're getting them from Nauvis. We have all of the stuff that we want, I believe so. Yes, okay, in that case, head directly to Nauvis and do not unload. That is one stop. You should be fine. You should then be able to request everything else you want. Okay, and we are not unloading, so Nauvis shouldn't steal the LDS or the calcite. That all should be fine. Okay, so we use this sulfuric acid. We then have to do something about the methane, and then the other thing we were looking at, yeah, and we haven't also have not moduled these things in any sensible way yet either. The other thing we were looking at that we're definitely looking at previously and then got just... Were we looking... We weren't looking at this stuff when we were distracted by the Nauvis combat, were we? We were just silly and doing other things. I don't think this electrolyzing needs... We make the sea salt, we then... This is the calcium stuff which we've also not looked at. Salt into chlorine and sodium hydroxide in a chemical plant. This is the guy that we want. And these dudes are not too much in the way, as long as we're kind of over here, so that's fine. How much you're making? You're making 1 per second. You are not a fast recipe. Yeah, we're going to do 1 of these. We're going to do 2 of these. Remember that we needed to flip this, and then we are going to want probably a number of these guys. And then also beacons, because your recipe is slow. Yeah, get this stuff in here. It's going to be fine. Give me power poles in a couple of places. It's also going to be fine. And then we are going to need these guys to link up. And also these guys to link up. Which also is totally manageable and fine. And now we've got the chlorine we don't want, and we've also got the methane we don't want. What were we doing with... Oh, the sodium hydroxide, there was a bunch of stuff for this, and it was all important and good, wasn't it? So I think for that, we go tank, 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 lots of tank. Get all of that stuff out. Are we short on speed modules? Apparently we are short on speed modules. We are short on a bunch of speed module 2s. And then also we need to be... Yeah, we also need to be using... We need to be using the power grid more. Which is hilarious. And suggests that instead of prod, we just speed this. Because we actually don't want... How much? You're making 0.37 salt per second. We would like you to be able to make more salt than that, I believe. 1 salt into 10 sodium hydroxide? Sure. Okay. So we have a small amount of sodium hydroxide, of which we need more. We have this chlorine we don't want that's backing things up. We also have this methane that's backing things up. And I think we're going to do some nasty garbage. If anyone was wondering what kind of problem we were going to solve with this. And I think the way we solve it... So we've got this recipe. If we go here, yeah, we've got this recipe under the fluids to combine these things into methane and chlorine. And so we might have a couple of these guys, and we might also speed module these things. And then we might also just grab this fluid interface, because I believe we have... Okay, no, we have got... Yeah, it's going to sit like this, but also all of these are in the wrong position, so we can correct that. And now we've got 4 chem plants, which... Do we have build range on this? We must have build range on this. Bots must have... Yeah, we're not complaining about any of those things. Fulgora is no longer complaining about as many cliff explosives, which means we're shipping those in as well, which is very exciting. And then, yeah, this guy can get down here. And we have, you know, allegedly some process for... Actually, if we had, maybe power would be an idea. And then maybe actually collecting power and then also pushing over this robo coverage. Okay, so we have ballsed this up slightly, which is fine. This needs to be here, so that we can be making all of these products. The thing is, there's nothing to do with this chloromethane except make plastic out of it. And I think instead of that, we're going to do some nasty speedrun garbage consisting of, yeah, we're going to need one selector combinator and one constant combinator, and we are going to do some nonsense. So if we connect all of these guys up and grab a selector combinator and set these guys to the set. People may have already either seen this in a speedrun or know some of the things that this combinator can do, but basically what happens with all of these fluid inputs, if we change the recipe to, say, regular batteries, is all of those fluid inputs disappear. And then if we were to change this recipe back, this thing would take in more fluids. And so if we had a way to set a recipe from a combinator... Why did you suddenly lose your recipe when... Maybe it's because you guys actually don't... So we can't actually use this recipe. Okay, because the rest of the setup that I was going to do is going to be this guy. One of the things that this selector combinator can do is randomly select from an input. And we can put this to, you know, update every 20 ticks. Do it 3 times a second. Don't worry about it. But then... Okay, so I think... Yeah, these guys won't change their recipe because they've still got an output, which is fine, because, yeah, one of the, so we then pass in as inputs the chloromethane, we need the chloromethane recipe. Actually, this chloromethane recipe is going to be, like, this is just the chloromethane recipe, which is fine, and then something that does not have those ingredients in their recipe, such as regular batteries. And so this guy is doing what we want. It is swapping between recipes as... Yeah, it's swapping between recipes, and any gases in here would be vented. The thing is, these guys won't change their recipe automatically because they had the fluids in here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go, this guy sits in here but needs to be vertically flipped, and then this also captures the same rotation as well. And so now if we, so we need to move these guys up 2 tiles, and that also means that I want to move the combinator for purely aesthetic reasons. So we are going to have 2 chem plants that are only going to get the methane, and as they get the methane, they will grab some methane, and then they will flick back to the batteries recipe, and the methane will disappear from the system. And we could, if we need to do this faster, we can. I don't know exactly what rate of stuff we want. And then we can do the same thing with the chlorine here. We can't... I was going to be clever and give all these guys the same recipes, but that doesn't... all give these guys both inputs so we could be voiding both things, except that doesn't work because then we make the outputs and then we do not... we can't change recipes, whereas this way we are venting chlorine from the system, not particularly quickly. You guys are making 10 chlorine per second. So we are going to need to make this operate a little bit faster, because each time we go from one recipe to the next, we are grabbing 40 of the fluid, and then it disappears into the void. Could we also... I want to check what happens if we get some of these speed modules and put a speed module in here. Does this... I was wondering whether this would take more fluids because the chem plant can go faster, but it doesn't look like it does. It looks like the ways we've got to vent these fluids, and we are now making the hydrogen sulfide, we are still blocked on methane because, okay, each of these guys is making 20 methane a second. That's actually quite a bit of methane. Okay, fortunately we have a plan for that as well, consisting of more chem plants. Because now we have more dudes that are grabbing more. That was the chlorine one, it wasn't actually the methane one. The methane one we are going to need, by the looks of it, quite a bit more. And so, yeah, you guys are on set recipe. We need these pipes to exist, we need this pipe to exist, and then we also need you guys to... Do we actually need you to be powered? I don't actually think we even need these dudes to be powered. I think the fluids will take their inputs and void it, even if they're not powered. Let's check that. Yeah, we don't actually need these to be powered. This is just doing base game, extremely silly, effectively flare stack things, and we are voiding we are voiding 240, I believe, methane per cycle, of which we are doing 15, not quite 15 cycles per second, because we're not always changing, we're not always alternating between these two signals. There's like a 50-50 chance each time the update interval ticks that we will get a different recipe. So this is also non-deterministic in a cool way, but we should now be venting about 240 methane per second. All of these guys are running. The methane is not ticking down, but whatever. We're getting more hydrogen sulfide. We are not getting more sodium because we have run out of salt. Or at least, no, yeah, this is just slow. Which is fine, because we had you getting, not getting more modules. Please bring us, actually, does Nauvis have quality speed module 2s? Oh, we could have got quality speed module 2s from Vulcanus, because we were just there. We have a large number. We actually, oh no, those are 1s. We actually have a large number of uncommon... Yeah, we would like you to be bringing us uncommon speed 2s, like 150 of them from Nauvis. You should have all of those on the way. 156 available on planet, not many, it's fine. Okay, so that is addressed. We are going to have to figure out, like, I'm wondering whether or not we also do this ugly voiding trick for water, because we might need to go through more water to get more salt, to get more sodium hydroxide, because we need that for a variety of processes. Okay, let's also get the water over here, because we need to be doing sulfuric acid things. We don't actually need to be doing sulfuric acid things over there, do we? We could be doing sulfuric acid things over here. Sulfuric acid. And then I still don't really have... I don't think we're doing this with more than one assembler. Yeah, with more than one chem plant. Yeah, you just have all of this iron that I have. I think we're also going to turn this into a request and request in the sulfur, because that's going to be easier, and it's going to turn up in... Yeah, it's just going to turn up in the hub when we have it. We have all 150 of these things. Amazing. Go to Shchierbin, do unload, passenger present, get rid of the Nauvis thing, because you're just going to go back to your regular schedule after this. And then we will catch up with you again in a bit, and you should be able to get... Yeah, we should be able to get through Gleba without stopping. Shchierbin. We should... Wait, I chose... Yeah, we just got the... we're looking at the wrong craft, aren't we? This is very silly. Okay. We're going to adjust to that by dropping vaguely helpful things, including some efficiency modules. I don't actually think we want efficiency modules here, because we want to be doing all of this in a more expensive way. Yeah, that was the wrong ship. Frederick is actually who we wanted to see. And also I wanted to check that we got the electric engines. We did, because this is what's standing between us and a silo. So I think we're kind of okay, and I think we should be able to get through Gleber without unloading. It's only going to be the blue chips and LDS. I'm not really worried about that. Okay, so we've got here no sulfur yet because we don't have sulfur yet, but soon a way to get sulfur in, yeah, sulfuric acid in there. Yeah, that's all going to do what it needs to. Why are you guys not running? Because we are not venting methane. You guys are still doing 20 methane a second, 25 methane a second because we gave you a speed module, and over here we are still... Yeah, we're just venting what we can. Because every time this 40 shows up here, this is a new 40 methane that is disappearing from the system. These guys are... Yeah, these guys are doing what they need to, though, because we are disappearing through the salt backlog. Okay, fine. I think while I'm waiting for the sulfur, we go and put some mining drills down over... Are we done with these drills? Some of these drills are done. We are also just not processing this stuff because we needed the sulfuric acid, which we could use... I don't want to use this acid for it. I want to use... Oh no, we have to use some of that acid for it, don't we? I think what we do is we go... connect all these guys up to this tank and say you only run if sulfuric acid is greater than, say, 4,000. Is that... No, I think we're going to do this differently. I prefer having the controls on the inserters, even though it probably makes... I mean, it'll make slightly... It'll make a slight difference when... Actually, I would rather clear all of these things and then copy that configuration and then not have that in the history. Yeah. Oh wait, then I should have copied it to one of the inserters first. Oh well. Enable greater than 4K. Because we also need... Yeah, we need this acid to be... I guess let's plan how that's going to work, because like this is the acid we're going to get, so it looks like we're doing that over here, because why not? How fast are we doing things? 50 acid per second. If we had the catalysts, and these guys are nowhere near that much. Okay, nice. Which means we can get rid of some of this. Let's flip these around this way and line these guys up here. Yeah. Because then this stuff can just get in, and this stuff... I think we lined this up with the tank inputs, and I had a moment of, oh, this is so close to working, why isn't this? And then realized, oh yeah, we kind of need the catalysts, don't we? It's kind of why we're doing a lot of this stuff. Okay, I guess we're doing this with long-handed inserters. And I guess we go... Thing is, we do need to be venting these catalysts. We could just do it in a box. Do we just do it in a box? Can we do these in one box of stuff? I think we would be doing this... Yeah, no, I think we still do this without a box. I think we go in here and up. Oh wait, the catalysts themselves are made out of this stuff, aren't they? What are they made in? Are they made in a furnace? They can't be made in a furnace. They have multiple ingredients. They must be made here. Steel and the vanadium hydroxide. Yeah, okay. So we need to worry about the rate at which we are making steel, but otherwise we need this stuff. And then are we like super close to being able to make the science then? Oh wait, we can't, not quite, because we also need to make the plate, which also has this process, and then we get to make the science. But we need to think about the science with the catalysts, because the idea here is, yeah, we go something like, that's why I wanted to figure out where I was making the catalyst. I'm concluding that it probably is down here. So this guy is the output. This one is the input. These guys don't matter. And then somewhere we've got to go something like this. Which side of the belt are these guys putting this on? These guys are going onto the far side of the belt, which means they will be on the close side of the belt, which means that they will take priority over the other catalysts that we put in through here. Yeah. So one of the concerns here is trying to figure out, really, have we... Okay, whatever, we're going to move all of this, it's going to be fine. Is that true? It's not quite true, but don't worry about it. Yeah, one of the concerns is making sure that these guys can pass all their catalysts through without everything backing up. And so they're going to take their own catalysts, but then any other catalysts can wander through into where we're putting the science over here, for which we will need none of those things, not the methane, not the hydrogen sulfide, the steam. Yeah, oh yeah, we also need to... I guess we're connecting the steam in a different way. Fully acceptable. Do we want to... Oh yeah, because I think we do want to... That's going to do what it needs to and be weird. 10 and 20 per second versus, oh, a whole lot. We are going to need a lot more of this, which is fine because we can do that. Yeah, put you here, here, and here because we don't actually care about the iron at all. I think we might end up beaconing this as well, because why not? Okay, so we have the other sulfuric... Oh, we've got sulfuric acid now. Amazing. So we can start to bootstrap this thing. Oh yeah, and the sulfuric acid was just going straight going in here. Get rid of those things. Let's have... Yeah, this is unfortunately placed. Several of those things are unfortunately placed, whatever. Things going to be fine. Okay, you also still have... Actually, we can just do... We're not going to need this much iron plate. We should probably give you some productivity, but also... Who cares? Okay, so we now have the vanadium oxide. This means that we could be making the... Yeah, we're going to need another belt that goes this way. Is it going to be here? If this is on the top side, these guys would be on the bottom side, which I think means we can still be processing half a belt of this stuff, which I am fine with. All of this should just line up if we can go... A bunch of these guys, so you also only need... You need more steel than anything, which is super interesting. I think we're also going to pull this up here. I mean, the steel is also going to be super easy to deal with. We're just going to go out here. And then, are we going to beacon? I think we're going to be... beaconing and moduling all of this for productivity? Probably. which I think means we need to get this stuff underground so that there's space to have inputs here from a belt of this stuff. And why are we not running? It's because we don't have that much acid. Because we still don't have that much acid. We never made that much acid because we put the limits on the inserters. The things that these guys had already grabbed meant that they just ran, which is a situation that I am fine with because it means that stuff has happened. Also, if we're putting beacons in here, spoilers, we're putting beacons in here because these guys are slow, then we should also figure out, I think we do these one at a time, don't we? Because then we can figure out where power poles can go between these things. Okay, we didn't need to be that careful about power poles, it's fine. Okay, so, other than the fact that, do we want even more of these? What rate is the science 1-to-1 with, did we even, oh, we have to make a plate first. Is the science is 1-to-1 with the catalyst, so I think we are going to need more of these dudes. Which is going to, yeah, I don't actually think we can, first of all, I don't think we can afford all of these, and then secondly, I don't think that, that's not what we wanted. I don't think that we are going to be able to get enough salt to make all of this happen. And then you guys need this stuff. There's a fluid in here which is, yeah, whatever. The sodium hydroxide? Yeah, it's probably spitting a bunch of stuff. I'm not super concerned. Yeah, so somewhere in here, down like so, we should be able to get to the sodium hydroxide that we want. And then if we had steel, which is kind of nearby, but I think we need to make more of it, but that's also fine. Oh, because we're turning it all into engines? We are turning it all into engines, and then also rail, which I stand by. Yeah, can we... I still want that rail. And then I think we have... Yeah, we've got a bunch of wagons that are also just waiting on steel. Okay. Because this is currently the only steel process, but going forwards, the steel process we want is just over here. Okay, do we have... Frederick was in orbit and has things that we want. We want the efficiency modules. I think we want insert. Actually, we're going to want more inserters if we are doing train station stuff. And then, yeah, we haven't looked at the calcite loop yet. That is the thing that is remaining. And other than that, I mean, let's wander over to our storage and see whether we've just made a huge disaster. But also, I wanted to get some of the steel to start making these catalysts. We have enough space because we have all the stuff, and we've got, yes, so many launch materials. We also can start doing concrete things because we've got the iron ore and the bricks over here. And then where is the closest place that we have water? Are you guys just running? Why are you... Oh yeah, because we are making the catalysts now. Wait, we got a small amount of steel from somewhere, and all of that kicked off, and then these guys aren't running because we don't have enough acid, which is fine because we're still just waiting on this guy to be making the acid. We have not very much sodium hydroxide, which is fine. We are still allegedly venting chlorine and methane. We just need all of... Did we not get... Oh, no, that's why. Because because some of these are uncommons and some of them are commons, and that's why we don't have all of these modules set up yet, because some of them are commons and we are replacing them with uncommons. And so that also means this guy should get its stuff. And we are not... Oh, we actually still need prod mods. Hilarious. Yeah, still definitely venting. It's fine. Okay. So if we could... You know what? There's a nice cheeky way we can get some of these catalysts out. I guess this is another reason why I would rather limit these inserters, because it's easier to hand feed from chests than it is to hand feed from tanks. Because hand feeding from tanks is not a thing. Okay, so we're making acid here. It's fine. We were going to module these guys. That's right, because this stuff was super slow. I mean, I believe we have more of those speed modules. We have enough of those speed modules. You know what we could have done? We could have brought rare beacons over from... Yeah, I think we want to go beacons rare from Vulcanus. Beacons rare from Vulcanus, because that's what we've got. Go and get me... Is there anything else you are staying here to do? I am not sure there is. Go to Vulcanus. Just head all the way to Vulcanus. You kind of got to go through Gleba again. We should be fine for these things now, and then the blue chips and LDS requests we can pull back a bit. The modules, I'm going to say we are good for, and then we will make things better with fancy beacons. Okay, cool. So all of... Oh yeah, that's right. We were beaconing this stuff because it is slow. Beacon here... actually, not beacon there. Beacon here and here, because these are all nicely offset. These are also offset. So, are we out of beacons? Maybe we're out of beacons. Oh well. Because also, we should still be fine for power grid, because we've got a ton of power grid, and using more power grid actually means we use more water, which means we get more salt. We also... Yeah, you guys are still... Actually, we should, productivity module... Yeah, let's actually, grab these guys back. Those were actually not the processes I should have grabbed prod mods from, but whatever. Give you some of the stuff... Give you efficiency modules? No, whatever. You guys can just do that. And so I kind of want to see when... It's going to be tricky to see. But there is a chance that... I mean, I would call that a bug in the mod if the catalysts are affected by productivity. We also need to get more steam, because we are currently not making enough steam, of which we can fix by grabbing a bunch of steam out the back of these turbines. It's going to be fine, don't worry about it. It's not the same temperature steam, but it should still work. Maybe it still works. Are we going to... Yeah, I think what we do is we throw... I think we do this section again and differently. And we have a tank, say, here, and a pump, of which we do not yet have pumps, but it's fine. Those things are easy to make if we are making rail, and we will need them if we're going to be doing fluid wagon stuff anyway. Don't worry about it. And I can probably even just go... I don't have the steel. Oh yeah, because steel was the thing we were supposed to be boosting, wasn't it? Because we've still only got this garbage tiny steel production. Okay, do this. Do all of this again. Steel. We need this to get in. We need these guys to be the faster the faster versions of the modules, because why not? And then we need power down here or something. And then we need the outputs to be running the other way, and we have additional steel automation. Making a mess. To here. Okay, so if we have additional steel automation, we needed to get that down here. These guys needed... It's still only a small amount of steel, and it's sideloading the correct way for us to get... yeah, where is maximum extension of these things? It's sideloading the correct way for us to be able to get this steel in here like so. And then things gonna make a mess, because that's what we do. New smart belt dragging things. If you have some but not all of the items you're trying to drag, you will get into range and then cancel the build even though you were ghosting all of them because your bots took care of it. Hilarious. Okay, so we need the steel, we need more of the... no, we are just input backed up. We're just backed up in inputs. It's actually completely fine. Okay, do we have any other prod mods in here? We have a couple of prod mod 2s. You guys, can you have prod mods? You can have prod mods. In that case, you will. Okay, and then the other thing we've got over... Let's have a bit of a gap, because we still cannot make the science. But this thing here... Like, we don't have the recipe for the science because we still need... Try and line these things up for aesthetics. Yeah, this is half of what we need for the science. This is another important piece of what we need for the science. We just need to do the... you guys need to be side-loaded better. But it's fine. We can handle it. Yeah, you just get all the steel in there. You get all this oxide as well. Yeah, what even were we doing? Is it just the plate? And the plate, we need to do the calcium loop. The calcium loop is the remaining thing. And then we go plate plus catalyst plus hydroxide. And we now... Wait, was that... I'm pretty sure that was assembler. Building recipes that we don't have unlocked yet in a chemical plant. We're making a science pack in a chemical plant. I like it. It's cool. So in here is... Yeah, 6 of these guys. This is going to be where we make the chemical pack that we... Yeah, this is going to be... All we need to do is put the plate on the other side of this belt, and then we will have a belt coming out this way. Yeah, I think we're going to be taking... I mean, we could even... Where is this fluid input going? Wait, this is not the right fluid input. This is the... How did we get chlorine? Is this because of our fluid dumping shenanigans? You guys are making chlorine and sodium hydroxide. Flush all the chlorine from that system. Just, like, get it out. Ah, because when we copied these modules, yeah, that would do it. We got these buildings upside down. Okay, this one here, we're also going to dump the chlorine because we don't care about the chlorine. This one only has the sodium hydroxide. All of these chem plants are up the right way. I was worried for a moment that it was something about the way we were juggling these chem plants meant that the fluid was coming out into the opposite, like, fluid input to the chem plant when we were changing the recipes and bouncing into the wrong network. It was not that. It was that we are no longer making the salt, so we actually need to be ditching the water. That is a thing that we kind of saw coming. I think this means we want to... Oh, wait. Also, do I have... I never got the pump. I still would like the pump. Give me some... Is it just steel we were waiting on for the pump? It was. We're going to need more pumps because more fluid networks. We are also going to need more iron mining now that we have... Now that we have a lot more... and we have not brought all that many drills over from Vulcanus. Is that because you just went back to Vulcanus? You're bringing me more drills, so that's going to be fine. And now we have the rare beacons, we have these big drills. Let's just bring you directly back to Shchierbin. It's going to be fine. You did this once before, and you still have a ton of bullets, so that's all fine. Okay, great. In that case, let's put some of this iron mining back. Those are the 4 that we've got. Yeah, we're going to need more iron as well because we're going to need more steel, although that's not really what we're blocked for at the moment. We are blocked for not having enough steam because I have made the pump, but I need to put the pump down here, and then I want to do this around the other way, actually. I wanted to make sure this pump only ran if we had steam less than a certain amount. So if we have less than 4,000 steam, then we would want this to be running. In fact, I don't think we want this to be running at all now. We're still not venting enough of the methane. Yeah, I don't think we want this to be running at all because we're just short of hydrogen sulfide, which is because we are not venting the methane. Maybe... What rate does that actually run? Like, because the thing I'm thinking about is... Okay, 20 methane and 20 chlorine. We could be... Like, we could be using the chem plants to combine these things and then vent harder. Or what we could just do is... get some of these things out of the way. Just have more... Yeah, so you can see the chlorine. Are we not actually venting? Is it going back into the pipe system? I would expect this to be going down. And it looks like we are not quite venting the chlorine in the way that we wanted. Okay, so it looks like this chlorine vent might not actually work, which would be a shame, because it means the backup chlorine vent is we just run over here and we go, oh hey, all this methane, just dump all the methane, it's going to be fine. We don't have tanks down here for the chlorine. We are going to need chlorine tanks if we are going to dump all of the product in the way that we want to. We can need 4 tanks in a row here just so that this lines up. And then the more tanks that we have... Can we get these guys out of the way now? Yeah, the more tanks that we have, the less often we will need to visit these to dump the stuff. But it does not look like... Yeah, it looks like when we were changing this recipe, it was venting back into the existing system rather than disappearing from the face of the planet, which is a shame. We would rather it disappeared from the face of the planet. And then I think also this means we would prefer to have a larger number of methane tanks, because this will also allow us to collect more stuff and vent it in one go. Because there's not really much to do with plastic here, and then this doing this whole process just to get a solid item that we can put in a recycler to get rid of it seems extremely silly, possibly even more silly than what we're already doing. Oh well, never mind. So we need a couple more tanks, for which we have all the steel. We also need iron plate. We have that as well. Yeah, we need to extend some mining, and I think maybe at this point we also go and grab train stations for... Oh, we're going to need more pumps, aren't we? 40 pumps? Sure, whatever. I was just checking in with the speedrun tech as well, and this voiding, yeah, these guys will dump their fluids back into the system if there is room in the fluid system, which means the solution to this, air quotes, solution for assorted silliness, is to get rid of these tanks and to just have these pipes and not much storage. And then, yeah, the same thing with the methane. We want to be dropping this fluid system entirely because we don't want the storage, because we want the storage to fill up. And then once the storage fills up, we should see that, yeah, and we probably don't even need these guys to be running quite so quickly. We probably can go back to like 4 times per second or something. So we want to see this fluid system fill up, and then when they change into the methyl chloride, chloromethane, yeah, when they change into the chloromethane recipe, they take the methane that they want, and then when they change back to battery, because this fluid system is full, the stuff just disappears. So we have made a selector combinator powered flare stack, basically. These guys are still running, the fluid system is full. It looks like we are voiding stuff in the way that we want to. Didn't we also get... Yeah, then we're going to need more salt. So we are currently rated at the... Yeah, we need to be using more water to get more salt. I'm pretty sure we had better quality modules in here that we can use to get these guys out faster. Do we want... No, I don't think we bother... Even though we're running down the natural gas, I don't think we bother putting better speed modules in the pump jacks. I think the thing we do is we go and connect more outposts. But I think the thing we do is we add to Shchierbin once here. First of all, get me more drills from Vulcanus at rare quality, because those things are important. And then also get me pump jacks at rare quality from Vulcanus. Let's also get like 40 of these, because the reduced drain of these things... It's not particular. I mean, it's going to give us a bit more. It's going to help. Oh wait, you're in orbit right now, aren't you? So give me the low density structure. Give me the calcite. Give me the low. Yeah, give me the blue chips. Give me the various bits and pieces. And so Shchierbin, we've already pulled down these requests. We shouldn't need any more electrical engines. We should have all the electrical engines we want. And then, yeah, we're seeing cliff explosives start to make its way around on the various ships. I think I actually wanted you to go back to Vulcanus to bring me the pump jacks and the mining drills. I think that's what we need at this point, and I guess more beacons, you're going to do that as well. That's great. Does that mean we have the better beacons? We already have the better beacons here to work with. We have more drills. We have all the things we might want. We've got so much low density structure. Oh, well, yeah. We've got a huge chunk of calcite that we don't even need to worry about. We can... I think that's going to be next time. I think we're almost at episode length. There were a couple of other things that I wanted to do. Yeah, these... Because we are constrained by the amount of salt we have, I think we are going to want to change all of these guys to prod mods. Flip this over so that we get the fluid outputs in the correct place. This guy doesn't really need this much storage, and we'll probably never use that much, but also whatever. And then, yeah, there are some complications about splitting this guy. Like, maybe we try and vent water. That's going to be tricky, because if we get too much salt, then we might not get the water to make the power grid work. Oh, well. Oh, yeah, the other rocket component as well, wasn't there? There was actually a couple of things about the steam. Let's go and do the... Oh, wait, do we need this? I don't think we need this sulfuric acid at all, because the other sulfuric acid loop is already running to the extent that it can. You are... Yeah, that's right. Except that we are not getting the right temperature of steam, which is an interesting thing. I mean, how much are you guys making? Are you guys going real fast? You're going 44 per second. How much are we using down here? We are... Yeah, I was wondering about putting another prod mod in this. I think we probably... Maybe we could, whatever, we're not going to worry about it. Yeah, the issue at the moment is the temperature of the steam is not the correct temperature. Some things get better with higher temperatures, but it's also, you know, chemistry. Some things just don't work at the wrong temperature, and this is one of the things that just does not work at the wrong temperature. So we're going to have to change this to, yeah, instead of... Oh wait, turn my bots back on. Instead of this steam system, I think we can still get steam from here. It's fine, we copied it, yeah. But we need to use a boiler to do that. Yeah, these guys are still running, indicating that we are venting the stuff in the correct way. So we've got over here red boiler at Corundum. Okay, I almost clicked on that because they were the ones we wanted. Yeah, let's get 3 boilers, because we need to flush the wrong temperature steam from the system, and then we also still need more steam because these guys are making things in the correct balance that we want. Should we... I mean, I feel like we should either prod mod or speed mod these. Are you hydrogen sulfide? These guys, I think... Maybe we prod mod them because we would like more hydrogen sulfide. Whatever, all of that is just a venting process. We are not really going to worry about it. We are going to find a place to put the boilers here like so. Is that going to line up nicely? Maybe. We actually want to hang a tank off this thing as well, because also the tank wants to be on the other side of the pump, because we only want to top up... Yeah, we only want to top up with the steam rather than... Oh, wait. Coal and steam. That was the other thing that... Yeah. Typical Factorio noises of remembering 3 or 4 other things we were going to, like, bash in at the end of the episode. Okay, so this guy is kicking out steam at the correct temperature for the chemical process that we wanted. And then we also want to have pipes like this, more or less, so that we can tie this guy to the tank and only top up steam if we are low on steam, if we are less than, say, 6,000 steam, which is not the limit we set before, but whatever, it's fine. And now we should have steam of the correct temperature. We should have these guys supporting the steam. This steam pipe we will actually keep for reasons we are about to get to. In fact, we could probably even blast a couple of turbines off the end of it, and that being, we need a rocket fuel plan as well. We've got, yeah, this guy who, some of these ships, various ships on various routes, will be bringing in... I mean, Fulgora is going to struggle with producing stuff at the moment. Yeah, and also this import from Shchierbin is also... Well, import from Rubia is also pretty weird, but never mind. Yeah, we've got this coal, which we could also use for rocket fuel, except that the current coal liquefaction recipe we have needs more sulfuric acid, which is a thing we don't really have. I mean, we have some of it, but we need it for the other processes. What we should do instead is go and research, because we have volcanist science, the recipe that will let us use steam instead to make the things we need to in order to make the rocket fuel. And that's probably what we're going to do with this steam system down here. Like, we've got some steam for it. We can do that later once that tech finishes, so that's nice. And I think is that almost everything we wanted to do this episode? We've got these guys are running. These guys, I mean, they are kind of slow, aren't they? We could speed these guys. I was wondering about whether or not we give them another prod mod, and the answer is yeah, we're going to give them another prod mod and also a beacon, but it's probably fine. If these guys fill up, we're going to be pretty happy. These guys are, yeah, we are still running all of this stuff. It's fine. These guys are venting. This chlorine is also venting because we're getting some amount of salt through, which is cool. Okay, so I think the last thing we do today is we check in with how the other quality processes are doing on our other planets. Fulgora probably still extremely unhappy. Yeah, just not getting much stuff in. We need to go back and do elevated rail stuff, no big deal. Gleba, we have dealt with all of the... Yeah, we've dealt with all of the common carbon, which is great. So I think we now go, yeah, uncommon quality carbon as well under the intermediates. Is that... that was confusing me. This was... Actually, we don't need to worry about... We don't need to worry about the object kind here at all, because the only thing these guys are seeing is the carbon. But we will now juggle all of this uncommon quality carbon up to rare, and we'll be able to do stack and sort of things with that at rare. If we get the quality more stuff we're doing, we have on Vulcanus a full chest of rare carbide, which is pretty exciting. We have coal backing up. We need to be using the coal more, but we do have a significant shortage of copper, and that's also still because we need to do the stack and soda thing, because we still need to get these guys venting properly so that we can get the amount of fluids through we need. But seeing all of this iron on the belt is pretty exciting, because that also means that we are now, I think at this point we can have, okay, so this guy's gonna need to move, but we could have even more electric engines being made, which is very exciting. Are you gonna... Yeah, you're not gonna quite cover, are you? Okay, so we can have even more rare electric engines, which is pretty fantastic. We've got these drills, we've got the beacons that we are no longer making because we're not getting green yet because we need the copper, but we do have... I mean, the idea of buffering rare iron plate is pretty fantastic, especially as we're going to be flying these guys around the place to get other stuff done. And yeah, you've got the pump jacks that we want. All of that is looking pretty good. Let's check in with Nauvis and see whether... Yeah, so we are working our way through a lot of this stuff. We've still got wood if we ever need any kind of power poles or anything like that, but I think we are going to be able to trash all of these boxes, and this should leave us with just rare wood. Rare and better wood, because any common wood disappears, any uncommon wood disappears. Rare wood is going to be a thing we need. Wait, 48, 49 epic wood? We only needed 10 epic wood. Cool, so that's great. That's a thing that we don't need to worry about. Oh wait, Vulcanus, how close are these chests to jamming on full stuff? We've got a little bit of time. I mean, this is also going to be a source of epic stuff that we can use to do whatever epic things we like with. I don't know what we're going to do the epic stuff for. It just needs to be somewhere that isn't jamming up these systems. But we also need to get the Balkan sodas done, which we are fine with. Yeah, so we also need to do the plate things. I think that's going to be pretty straightforward. We've got to do the calcium loop stuff, of which I believe we have a ton of calcite now. Yeah, that's all fine. We need to do concrete and silo stuff. We need to do science things. All of that seems pretty straightforward. And I am happy with... okay, to the extent that we are ever happy with anything, the disaster that is unfolding here is indeed processing.